Hey, all right. Hello, welcome to this episode of the Explorers of Efera Session 19. I'm so happy to welcome our two concurrent viewers. Oh my gosh, look at that. Well, welcome. Anyway, we have a shorter time duration today, where, as with this campaign now, we only get 3 hours instead of 4 due to some personal stuff. So that means instead of dilly-dallying, we're just gonna jump right in. But wait, I need to unmute Roll20 first, so there's audio coming from my end. Oh wait, there's no music playing. Well, let's fix that right now. Okay, here we go. That's a good one, right? Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty, so last... Yeah, I did some personal fan art, because I really enjoyed Cyrus. I just think he could look more evil. So anyway, last we had left off, our group of very in over their heads adventurers, they found themselves in the city of New Efera and constantly confronted by things that they just wished that they could change, or making new discoveries about the people around them, rediscovering betrayers, and in some cases getting revenge, although it was only half of what was originally wanted. We had the reconnection of Alec to her father, the discovery of Kagan's distrust for Morganix and Alec, and some hinting at Alec's father doing things under the table and doing things that were not his chief duties in order to quote-unquote protect his people, to keep them safe, and that seemingly backfired on him, and he was unable to confront those things. He was very defeated. Aside from that, there was also the confrontation of Brez and Dara after trying to use Brez as bait to draw out the weasel to try and weaken these butchers of Bella Clara. Instead, that plan backfires as well, where Brez is able to get there, Sayla following him invisible. Brez tries his best to convince them and almost does it, but the Silence and the Ox know that there is something there, and if only he was able to get the Weasel alone, without those two, maybe it would have worked out. But the three together do make a formidable duo, and the plan failed, with Brez being devoured by this massive, disgusting maw that was undone from the Silence's sewn lips. After that, Dara is executed by Varnast, and you all return to Alec's father in the native ghetto. Sleep for the night, and in the morning, decide what is best. And eventually, after some delegation, picking up some packages from the rookery, you decide that it would be best to go speak with Runemaster Imariel, Morganix put it best last week, Cyrus's magical sugar daddy. So, Runemaster Imariel, the seemingly estranged father of Cyrus, you all decide to head that way. So, walking along the southmost road, which in this particular area of the city is the nicest, eventually going from the dock, past the rookery, past the Lawbearers retraining facility, you eventually get to the High Gate, unless there was anything you wanted to do or talk about before that. Oh, I did want to ask one question before we dive too deep in. Cyrus, Varnast, Morganix, the three who were staying in the Haven on the Water, before you left, after the disagreement and everything with the butchers, the Weasel was in the room with all of you. Do you think any of your characters would have had a moment where they thought, I need to grab this?
Morganix would have if no one else did.
Okay.
Varnast certainly wouldn't have.
I would have hauled ass. Like, nope.
Okay, so real quick, in that moment as you were kind of grabbing your things, Morganix, I'd just like you to make an investigation check real quick, just to see if you would have been able to find it after all of that raucous and loud noises in there.
Oh!
So, yeah, you kind of fling some pillows, slide a mattress off to the side, you try and find it, but in the time that you have, you are just too scatterbrained about, for one, your hair is now black in that moment, and you are on the verge of an anxiety attack, and you decide, it's a weasel, Fox, it'll probably be fine, and you dart out with Cyrus and Varnas. This was for the Fox
Setting
weasel.
the bar real high today.
Yeah. So, as all of you are making your way towards the towards the High Gate, past the Rookery and the Lawbearer retraining facility, is there anything you'd like to do before you try and attempt to speak with Rune Master Imariel?
I'm good.
Is her head down, just keep to herself. She's not going to say much today.
Okay. Alrighty. So, you begin to make your way towards the High Gate, passing the Lighthouse and Rookery and that retraining facility. And as you begin to approach, the gates are currently shut, and you can see that people seem to try their best to avoid the High Gate. As you approach, you can see, from a distance, it's a little bit harder to tell, something hanging from the ramparts. But as you get closer, your suspicions are, well, they're laid bare, as you can see that there are sort of mutilated bodies hanging from the ramparts. Things like traitor, revolutionist, and things like that. These signs hanging from the necks which they're strung up from. Sort of a sign to others that they not follow down the same path. So you can see most people avoid the gate. But as you approach, there is a shout from a guard. And you can see all of the guards in this city wear generally the same thing, where they wear like a chest plate of steel with van braces and the shin guards. But then they wear almost like a traditional duster that you would see on, like a Civil War, or not Civil War, on a Revolutionary War soldier, but instead of red or blue, it's a very deep, deep purple. And as you begin to approach, they have rifles, muskets in their hands as you approach the gate, and you can hear a voice shout down, "What business do you have at the High Gate, traveler?" Just looking down at the group of you.
I would kind of check back and say, "Hello, darling. I have a meeting with the Rune Master."
And the guard kind of looks down, and then you can see him just back up and walk away. You guys stand there for maybe 4 or 5 minutes. And the gates do not open. And you kind of wait and thinking, okay, well, this isn't good. But then you see there is this small glow of purple coming from the wall as this portal kind of cracks open, and you can see him step through it and just poking maybe his top half of his torso out. And he says, "Oh, Zamir, I am so glad you made it. These must be your friends. Please, come in, come in." And you can see him head back through the portal as this portal just on the wall stays open.
I gingerly step through.
Okay. Step through. Everyone else follow suit with Cyrus.
Yep.
Alec is uncomfortable, but she will go through.
Very hesitant, but yeah.
Okay.
Super uncomfortable, yes.
So as you do, there is this odd sensation that none of you have experienced, where you can feel this teleportation magic to a certain degree affect you, where you feel like your body is just being stretched super duper thin and then brought back together as you reemerge into a very, very large room, from ground to ceiling, maybe about 20, 25, 50 feet almost in some spaces. This cone-shaped room with the stained glass windows that look over New Efera and the ocean, creating different shades of purple and blue and green decorating this area. And there are these large mechanisms that dangle from the ceiling, spinning around for some reason, and a laboratory on this like elevated workspace where there are different alchemical contraptions to dilute and boil ingredients. And you can see that high elf, Rune Master Emeril, seems has made his way back up the stairs and is just continues to work as if really no one's here. And as you all sort of step through in here, he says, can I get any of you anything in the meantime, or some tea, some cucumber sandwiches, maybe?
A little harder for me, darling.
All right. Anyone else want anything?
I'm fine, thanks.
All right. Please make yourself at home, spread out. I'm sure you have many questions, and I just would like to extend my formal gratitude and thanks for your services, keeping Zemir safe and trying to do the best you can in these parts. And just in case anybody, I'll go ahead and show this again. Rune Master Emeril. Very well, fine. I will... let's see. And just different items begin to kind of float near all of you after a snap of his fingers. Different teacups and casks and little snacks. And he says, well, if you change your mind, just they'll be on the tables over there. And unless anybody grabs something that they wanted, it just kind of floats back over to a table where it was sitting and sets back down.
Alec is gonna like awkwardly stand in a corner. Like she feels as though if she sits down on something, she's gonna immediately make it way too dirty. So she's just gonna like awkwardly stand in a corner. She feels very out of place.
Okay.
Trying not to touch anything or break anything.
Okay. So as he's sort of standing up there, he kind of sees that and... All right. I'm sorry. I'm rude. Let me not work on anything while you're here. I'm sure that... well, if you're here, you probably have questions, and I probably have answers, and, well, I can promise you, you have my undivided attention. And he's going to kind of move back around from that workspace he was, head back down the stairs, and a chair is just going to slowly float over towards him, and he's just going to sit down, looking at all of you. So, what can I do to help you?
So, I'll be honest, still slightly foggy on the memories. Have some ideas. Still not all there, but you seem to know me, and I seem to remember some things. Namely, not getting that fucking firebolt correct. Ever.
Yes, you did struggle with that. It was something we worked on, but... Well... any sorcerer or wizard or warlock can learn to use a firebolt eventually. Some it takes a little more time, but Cyrus, you always had something. Zemir, Cyrus, which do you prefer?
Frankly, either or, but I'll be honest, I've grown rather fond of Cyrus.
Very well, very well. Cyrus it is. So, Cyrus, even when you were little, your talent was always with your words. It was the most peculiar thing. I am a man of unshakable will, but for some reason you could always talk me into giving you more sweet jelly tarts, and I don't know why I gave them to you, but you were just so charismatic. So, your strength was not with the with the fire bolts. It was with your words. Which I'm sure that you've discovered on your own.
I do rather well. I must be rather blunt though, because I'll be honest, the things I've been hearing don't particularly strike me as a memory, at least I remember. I don't seem to remember. Well, one, I distinctly remember being closer to Slostat. Secondly, I've been hearing of people who have been, let's just say, lobotomized. And thirdly, this, and I'll kind of like look around the room and just say, this Governado fellow. I'll leave that for interpretation.
Yes. I'm assuming all of you have been hearing these same things, and all of you feel rather uncomfortable being in this room talking to me.
Well, we've also seen things.
It's the-
She kind of like will step forward a little bit.
I'm assuming you're referring to the brainwashing, the psychosis. Yes, it is not my proudest work.
But you continue to do it.
I do, yes. You see, I've lived in this area before New Efera was as established as it is. And the Governado, this iteration of him, if you will, well, he's only been here for 10, 15 years. And when he came around, he had some changes that he wanted done. And at the time, I was younger, I was more impressionable, and I said yes to them. And those requests got a little more absurd, and, well, you see, as much as I detest them, and I detest doing it, I have my own ways of trying to help people, and in performing these tasks for the Governado, he paid me, and, well, I was able to get closer and closer to accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish. Sadly, my work was all for naught, as what I was trying to accomplish, he seemingly led me on a wild goose hunt. And so now I'm left continuing to do this, trying to pick up from the ashes, and still having to work for him in this capacity.
Alec just kind of like,
Oh,
no, you go first.
Okay, can I just roll a quick insight on that?
Yeah, make an insight check.
Yeah, Alec is just like, first of all, she didn't understand half of what he said. But she's just kind of like quirking an eyebrow looking at him. And she's just gonna say, I think that you did not explain very well. It doesn't matter how much you're being paid. I think the word you used most was I don't think that fits the narrative of helping people. And she kind of like, you can tell that if there wasn't some things that were said earlier in this day, she probably would keep going. But she kind of like balls up her fist next to her, and she'll just take a step back, and she'll just say, but that's not why we're here. We are here because we need your help, and if you are so good at helping people like you say you are, then maybe you can. And then she'll just look back to Cyrus.
Okay, so we'll come back to that in just a second, but I need to take Ryan in the other room. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so
Man, a nat 20. Like, this was the time for that.
this was the time, because it seems as though when he was speaking about, so for one, he's very, very hard to read. You can tell that he, along with Cyrus, definitely have a knack for speaking, and definitely blessed with a silver tongue. But while there is truth to him not liking the things that he has to do, you can tell that there is a much more deep-seated anger and hatred in his, in the very, bottom, or the bellows of his vocal cords. That there's that tension there that you just barely hear, where he really, really, really does not like the Governado, and that is something you can plainly tell, being as insightful as you are.
Got it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Back in the chat. Here we go. All right.
Oh?
All right. Hello?
Hello.
Alrighty, very cool. So, Varnast, you sort of make a mental note of that, and he looks at you, Alec. You know, I have always admired the natives of Efera, Alec. They have a way of speaking plainly, which I, as I said, I greatly admire. So often, in these days, I can't speak plainly. And I very much wish I could.
Oh, you can speak plainly with us.
I believe that anything that I could say in this moment, well, I'm afraid it might be, you will not believe how easy it is to take things out of context. If you understand what I mean.
Are you going to help us or not? Because, quite frankly, I'm tired of listening to people just talk. We've been going in circles, it seems, and we just need help. There's somewhere we need to go, and we need to get there quickly. And before someone else. Is that a magic that you can do?
And you can see his brow kind of furrows a little bit as he looks to you and then kind of looks around the room. And you can see him take a couple of shallow breaths. And he says, Oh! Sorry, I forgot that I had something boiling over there. Here, let me go fix that. And then, sorry, I was blanking a little bit. Ask your question in just a moment. Let me just go finish that. You would not believe what happens to these ingredients when you burn them. It's just not good for,
Alec is looking around like she missed something.
And he kind of takes a few steps up the stairs, and you see him kind of grab a few things off of his desk, and he says, Actually, I know it's not why you're here, but yeah, I'd like to show all of you something. Come up here. I promise, I promise I don't bite.
I'll go up there.
All right. Cyrus. Thank you. Please, come on.
I'll go.
Yeah. Alec will slowly walk. She's confused.
Even if I'm wrong in this, Cyrus would definitely be like, well, honestly, it's quite alright, guys.
Okay. So,
Okay.
everyone else too? Sayla, Varnast?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so kind of gingerly making your way up, not exactly knowing what is to come if you step up here, and as soon as the final person crosses the threshold leading into this circular raised pedestal, there is this dark aura that kind of covers this entire area where those pillars are, emanating from the this sort of magical device hanging from the ceiling. And he says, All right, I greatly apologize, but I could tell that there were some very sensitive topics that you were about to start covering, and frankly, we can't speak like this for long, because, needless to say, the governor does not trust me, and rightfully so. The only reason I do anything for him is because he knows the location of family members who are dear to me. And he uses that as leverage against me. So, I do what I can to make sure they maintain their safety, and he promises me gold, and I try and figure out a way to free myself of this area. So, you want help in what?
Well, now, that is a more pressing issue, yes. Let's rewind. You say people dear to you. Is there a reason why when I left Slostat or I was in Dragon's Bay I never heard from you? I don't remember you, but evidently I'm important.
Yes. I will answer that as briefly as I can, and I understand that you deserve a much longer, lengthier reason. The shortest reasoning is your ability to channel chaos magic was unparalleled to any that I had seen before, and in an effort to aid you, the worst had happened, and, well, you became what you are. I sent you to a family that I thought would be able to use your silver tongue, your gift, properly, but it seems as though they did not care. And because of that, and because of how far away you are, and the limited contact that I attempt to have with my students after they leave, I thought that you would be fine on your own, but I was wrong. When the chaos magic surged up that evening at the ball, I felt it. I was able to feel that surge, and then I felt those surges get closer when you arrived in Efera. And I was very glad when you arrived in New Efera, because I can move and I can speak to individuals in New Efera. I am tethered here, however.
If you knew he was in trouble, couldn't you have sent for him? He's suffered for years.
Yes, I'm sure he did. And Cyrus, I am so sorry that you did. Believe me when I say that I did not want anything bad to happen to you. You were like a son to me.
Insight check.
Make an insight check.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Okay. Okay, so, you can tell that even in this shrouded area, he's hiding something, but it doesn't seem... The best parallel I can think of is... Oh, that's inappropriate. That's not exactly right. But kind of akin to when you really, really, really do like somebody, but you've only been on a few dates with them, and you're like, you want to say I love you, but you know it's too soon. That's the same vibe. Where you can tell he wants to say more, but you can kind of tell that he's holding back because of that.
All right.
Okay.
I can take that. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Alrighty, so
Argus hates Alec.
with that, we're going to jump back in. Morganix, you mentally log that. And he continues, he says, if I knew how terribly they would have treated you, I wouldn't have sent you there. On paper, they were perfect for you. A family...
I mean, don't get me wrong, the parties, the booze, and the food was excellent.
It was just...
Just literally every other part.
Yes, and as I said, on paper, it was the best it could have been. To try and distance you from this thing that I wasn't sure if you could control, to try and remove you from it, to have you forget about it. But seems as though you couldn't escape it.
Nope, definitely can't do that. But as you said, time is limited, and we do have a rather pressing issue.
Of course.
Now, and I'll kind of do we have like a rough? We have the map, don't we? That kind of points to where it is.
Yeah, you would have that map of New Efera, or of Efera, I mean.
So, I would I'd be pulling this out, and like while I'm getting this ready, I'd be like, by any chance, have you ever heard of someone called Charles Windren? Nasty, arrogant prick, and I mean arrogant compared to me.
Charles Windren. Let me see. Oh, I think I do. There are times when I would be searching for recruits, those who seemed promising in the world of magics and such, and maybe had a connection to chaos magic. And he was a name on my list, but there were issues there, as I haven't thought about it in so long, but there were many inferiority problems with him, where any of his professors or educators at the Academy of Extraordinary Magics, that grotesque place, they would attempt to teach him something, and he would say that he knew it better, and he didn't, and it would blow up in his face, and he was eventually expelled. Really, the only class that he ever passed was translating of antiquated languages. And that was the only thing he was good at, really. Any other magic, he was terrible at. Which is why he never found his way into the circle of the Magi.
Well, this arrogant prick somehow has used that knowledge of his language to beat us to a place we need to get to. He is it 2 days away?
Ish.
Or it, like, okay, the problem we have is, you see, we have an engagement in New Efera. Charles Windren, the engagement is in 2 days, I believe. Charles Windren is 140 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that we get there and get back?
Well, and he kind of looks at the map. I do have some contacts in Trismakai. I'm not sure if they're still willing to speak with me after everything that's happened with the Governato. But, well, actually, I don't know if it's still in use. It might be overgrown and overtaken by other things, but there is a... they were used by Eferan, native Eferan shamans a long time ago in order to transport different individuals or bodies to sacred places, like summoning circles, where using the right incantation, the right what have you, they could move easily between Efera. It was a very complex style of magic. And there is one, at least, and he kind of points up, and there is a book that flies from this interior bookshelf into his hand, and he flips it open. You can see it's older, a little bit more rugged, and he says, "There was one, maybe... Well, wait a minute. You said it was right here," pointing down at the paper where the green circle is, and he says, there is one there.
Do I know what he's talking about? Have I heard of this before?
Yeah, when your grandma passed away, her body was actually transferred from there using those circles in order to get to the ancestral jungle where the ancestors of Efera are laid to rest, so they can, in turn, return to the mud and turn into either a large tree, a grove, a small pond, like your grandma did.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you would be familiar with it.
Right. But I wouldn't have any knowledge on how those work. I never
No,
paid that much attention when I should have.
you were never educated in it. But they
Gotcha.
say that anyone who has a connection to that power can use it. It's just you never really learned how.
Gotcha.
So I would need maybe a day to try and crack that magic, but I think I could do that for you.
Yes, please. I don't mean to stress the importance, but it is imperative we get to this area, and then, if possible, back here relatively sharpish.
Well, I suppose...
And I just want to say, Ember, I mean, in return for your help, and if you need me to run tests for this chaos, I'm willing. If it means I can do this, I'm willing to help.
All right. And Cyrus, do not worry about that right now. What's more important is that we... Obviously, this is something that matters a lot to all of you, and just from what you've done and the people you've talked to in New Efera, I can tell that you are definitely cut from a different breed than the governor. So, I have no problem helping you with this. We can discuss the tests and the examinations later. Really, after you all finish this, or finish whatever you're trying to accomplish, I would just like a small favor in return. And that's it. Nothing involving you. We can talk about it later. This is more important, and we can talk specifics later.
I think we should talk specifics now so we know what we're signing up for.
I mean, I don't... If time is of the essence, I'm willing to agree to your terms. I don't... How long do we have with the Governado listening or not? I don't know.
Maybe 5-10 more minutes before he grows suspicious. And to be frank, I don't know if there is anything in my tower. I haven't been able to find anything, but he has connections, and he has gone to great lengths to...
Oh, yes, he does.
Yes.
And they are looking for us. But that's another matter, by the way. Just throwing that in there.
Your name was Morganix, correct?
Yes?
Oh, sorry. By the way, he knows us all. I should have mentioned this. He knows us.
Yes, I had heard from... The governor is close to Doradine, so he would receive letters and missives about you all. And, well, fine. What I want all of you to do is whenever you finish whatever you need to, no matter how long, I would want all of you to travel for me, and I'm bound here, so I can't, but I would want you to go to Port Sahala and make sure my mother is okay.
I'm willing to do that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Thank you.
Of course. All right, so here, I will do the proper testing that I need to get access to that circle. Sadly, I don't think any of you could...
It's not going to disturb anything, correct?
Maybe some subtle alterations to vegetation, but in all honesty, the circle probably hasn't been activated in so long that, if anything, it will return some of the majesty of your people to the vegetation there. Almost like, a line of black powder that you light onto a keg, where it's small at first, but eventually that light, that energy travels and, well, reawakens something that was not originally there, or hadn't been there in so long. Your people are very interesting, and believe me, any other time I would love to hear everything you have to say. But sadly, I think our time is running out. So, and he snaps his fingers, and behind all of you, a portal appears, and he says, "Tomorrow evening, return here at midnight to the gate, the same area where you walked in, and I promise you I will have your way to beat this Charles Windren. All right?"
Thank you.
Of course. It is the least I can do for you, Cyrus. All right. Good luck, and I suppose I will see you soon, then.
I give a nod and I start walking towards the portal.
So, one after the other. Unless anybody has any last words for this this yellow gent. No?
No. I think Alec will take a very long look at him, but she'll just turn and leave.
Okay. Alrighty.
Varnast will wait till everyone else has gone through.
Okay.
And he'll look back to the gentleman and he'll go, "This will really piss off the Governado, by the way." Just food for thought. And then he walks through the portal before the guy says anything.
Okay. Alrighty. So with that, all of you reappear outside of the walking through the castle wall again. The second time around, it is a little bit easier, feeling your body stretched all the way thin and then come back together, but it is still unsettling and still causes your stomach to do some weird things. But you now have some information and maybe a little bit of hope. So now that you have until midnight tomorrow, you still have a full day, or full 2 days. What would you like to do in those 2 days?
Are we still near the gate?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, I would kind of gesture we walk away from any prying ears.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And as we're kind of walking away, I'm going to say, "So, how do we feel about... I mean, I'm sure there's going to be many questions, many allegations I've not told you that he knew. I'll be honest, I forgot. Had a lot of wine recently. How do we feel about stealing back our things from the Haven on the Water? Because we have a lot of shit there still. And we have something from Jalissa, and I'll be honest, I'm frankly dying to know."
Oh, I forgot to ask Jens, where is my fox weasel? Did you guys get...
Oh, shit.
You have a fox weasel?
Sayla, I tried. I couldn't find him.
What?
I couldn't find him.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Can't trust you guys with one thing. Good
Could we
job.
go back, right? You said we could break in. And Sailor, you're good at that. We can just get our stuff.
I mean, I'm gonna get my weasel.
Joe, question. Is our cart parked there? Is that where we, stapled up our stuff?
Yeah, there's a small stable attached
Okay,
to
so
the...
my dog is there as well.
You could assume, yeah, that he would be in the stable. There's
Okay.
probably a kennel there
Yeah.
where they could put, dogs.
Okay, cool. Alec will say, "And we can get your weasel back, as well as my companion."
Wait, you're talking about the cart?
My companion is not a cart. It is The
No,
Donglin?
the cart.
Well, he was left with the cart. And our stuff is in the cart. Shouldn't we retrieve it?
We can try, but we may have to forego the cart and its contents and just focus on the animals and whatever Jalissa left in that room.
Right.
The cart is not something that we can take away stealthily. The dog might not be something we can take away stealthily, to be frank. The weasel, there's potential there, although I don't feel comfortable sending Selah back to the room where we were.
I can go with her and be invisible.
I don't want to just leave my companion either. Do you see what these people do to anything that's not exactly like them? I can't just leave him here.
Yeah, well, I'm more worried about what they do to you when you get caught.
If I get caught?
When with you. Sorry, but when with you.
Well, who's watching the stables so carefully?
We don't know. That is the problem. But why would they not go look for it? If they knew where we were, they know where we put our cart as well. And they're probably going to know that we're going to make an attempt to get it back. Because why wouldn't we?
Okay. Farnast, what do you suggest that we do?
Prioritize. Do it smart if we're going to do it at all.
And what is smart?
Carefully and quietly.
Oh yes, because we're really suggesting we just waltz in there like nothing happened. Give us a little bit more credit than that.
Well, Jesus, we just went to go see a powerful rune master, and the first thing Alec does is fucking get on his case about what's going on right before we're going to ask him for a favor. So I don't think common sense is something that I really needed to justify until now.
Getting the sense tensions are still a bit high.
Do you not understand what this man is doing to people?
I absolutely understand what he's doing. I'm saying that we either should not have gone in to ask him a favor and then opened up by accusing him of all this stuff just because it's true. That's not how you get people to do shit for you.
He's not wrong.
I'd like to point out, he may be a stranger to you, but I wanted to ask him the same question, knowing him for... Granted, I don't remember him, but I've known him for years, and I wanted to know the answers to that, because that's not for the faint memory I do have, that's not the Emerald I remember.
Yeah, you actually went about it with some tact, though.
Varnas, is there a problem between the two of us?
Oh. Please.
I asked you a question.
Yeah, there's a problem.
And she just stares at you.
I'm trying to make sure that we survive and actually get through this.
And I'm not?
It doesn't feel like that at times.
Varnast, we're trying, but your constant attitude of always knowing better and raining down on the rest of us with superiority is not helping things. If you would like to make helpful suggestions, then by all means, please do. But please stop talking down to us like we are children.
Thank you, Morganix, but I can fight my own battles.
I'm fighting my battle too right now. I'm very annoyed.
So we go about this quietly and smartly. She realizes smartly is not a very good word, but go with her on this. Smartly. And Selah, if you feel confident going back to Haven on the Water, and if Morganix follows you and you're both invisible and unseen, could you get in and out quickly, prioritizing, and she'll look at Varnas, the most important items, and getting back here safely?
Probably. I mean, that's what I'm good at.
I think we need to agree about our priorities, though. The animals and the room Jalissa mentioned, is there anything else? I think the cart itself and its belongings are a lost cause.
I agree.
Yeah, the cart is fucked. We need the animals and whatever Jalissa's left us.
My fox comes first. Just saying.
Varnast, is this all right with you?
Just be smart. If you think you're blown, retreat immediately.
You act like I don't know this.
It's a reminder.
I don't need one.
Sayla, are you all right with me coming with you invisibly?
Yeah, just try to stay out of trouble, please.
Of course, you just might need an extra set of hands. You don't know what we're going into.
Is there a location we should meet up at? I assume us just staying on the street isn't a very smart decision.
Well, could we go back to the ghetto?
I guess.
Well, we have a location to meet at. We have to be at the Rune Master by midnight.
Midnight tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
That's a day, but still. It's a place if we get separated.
Well, I guess that's true, but if three of us aren't going to be actively doing anything, we might as well just find a spot to lie low and get some rest.
I wish I could cast on more people, but it's concentration.
It's alright, you don't want me bumping into anybody and making a mess anyway, so. We can go back, and we can wait. And when you both are successful, we can all reconvene and go from there.
Right, we have a plan. Come
Mhm.
on, let's go.
I go with her.
Alrighty, so Alec, Cyrus, and Varnast head back to the native embassy in the native ghetto in order to hide out there, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you all make the long, about 2.5 hour track back, splitting the party again, which is okay. And Morganix and Sayla, being very close to the Haven on the Water, sort of tuck into an alleyway. You tuck into an alleyway, same as you've done before, knowing what works, and as you are closer to the Haven on the Water, you cast invisibility not only on her this time, but also on yourself, Morganix.
Yes, because I'm using a 3rd level spell slot, so I can target 2 people.
Look at that.
Yeah!
That's some good shit.
I'm gonna use a 3rd level spell one way or the other.
I actually totally forgot you could do that with invisibility.
Hell yeah, man. It's
Oh man, it's only gonna get better. Someday I'll be able to get the whole party.
Would that be nice?
So, you two, now invisible, you make your way towards the Haven on the Water. So, I pose the question, where are you heading first? The stable kennel area where your cart and at least the dog would be, to your room, or to room 304, which is where Jalissa indicated that there was a surprise waiting there for you.
As much as she wants to get her weasel, she has to prioritize the group shit, so we have to get Jalissa's. Not happy,
Yeah.
but she understands that she has to prioritize that regardless of what she said.
I feel like we would have talked about it long before we got there, cast invisibility to go Jalissa, Weasel, and Dog last, because once we hit that card, I feel like we're gonna have to GTFO.
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately bowing to Sayla's expertise in this scenario. If she feels differently.
Oh, that sounds about right. Oh goodness, she's not looking forward to this. She's already been here once, and she knows that hag was here, so she doesn't want to be back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So the two of you head that way first, making your way across that bridge and up, across the bridge and to the sort of more hotel area separated from the tavern. And easy enough, you make your way up one flight of stairs, two flights of stairs, until you get to the third flight. And easy enough, there's not really been any confrontation. It's still early enough in the morning now, maybe, 10, 11 a.m. And so people are mostly out of this residential part of the inn, and you see room 304.
Okay, let's see if it's locked.
Okay. So, you do know that there was a key given to you, so assume that it's locked.
Oops.
You put the key in, unlock it, and who is pushing it open?
Oh God.
I'm gonna let Morganix, because I'm gonna be scanning to make sure nobody's paying any attention and telling her when.
Okay. So you do see there is a small duo that comes through, that walks past in this hallway, and you guys manage to push yourselves up against the wall. They walk right past you like it's nothing. And then it seems like the coast is clear. Morganix, you put in the key, you unlock the door, and you go to open it. And, well, it's definitely not what you were expecting. You were expecting, I don't know, armor, a set of weaponry. But no,
It's a bear stretch, isn't it?
You see a person. A very, very, very familiar person. Someone that you thought you would never, ever see again. At least anytime soon. You see an older man, hair pulled back into a small bun, blue and gray coat, with a white neckerchief on. He sees the door open and he says, "Hello?" And you see Duncan Baines sitting in a chair, pipe in his mouth. "Hello? Who's there?"
I rush inside and kind of try to feel for Sayla and tug her in after me so we can shut the door.
Oh. And you see him kind of stand up, and you can see him start to charge this magical energy in his hand. He says, "Who's there?"
It's us! It's us! Stop! Don't!
Mechanics? It kind of dissipates the magic. Where are the... You're invisible. Yes, I understand now. That is probably something you've learned how to do. Very good. Well, I suppose that I can speak quietly, of course. As I understand, things are not exactly...
Sayla, are you in here?
I'm in here. Shut up.
I shut the door.
Good. So, I understand things are not exactly great right now, and I will be brief, as it seems like you all have, the two of you, well, are the rest of them here as well? Or is it just Morganix and Sayla?
Yes.
Just you two. All right, fine, I'm just making sure. So, in brief, Co was able to help me a great deal. Most of my memory is returned to me. I have discovered much, and I have rediscovered much about myself. The meek old bookish man is now a moderately powerful wizard who is at your disposal to help in any way you'd like me to.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah, that's great.
Yes. So, whatever you need me to do, I am here to do it for you.
Do you have free reign of the city? We're kind of wanted right now.
Yes, no one knows I'm here, except for, the five of you.
Okay.
I can move around the city as freely as I wish. Whatever you need me to do.
This might solve our issue. Maybe he can get a dog for us.
Oh, you purchase some pets in your adventures?
Oh, Alec has a doglin in our cart that we left in the stables here.
Oh. Well, yeah. Very well.
We're meeting the others in the native ghetto. Could you get there without being seen so you could tell us all everything?
Of course. And, you see him kind of, move his, hands around, and there's this flash of, well, not flash, there's like, his skin goes from that sort of, pale, white, the dark brown, or sort of brown hair that is like graying, and it all turns this thick coat of black, kind of like Cyrus's hair that's just like these light curls that drape down his head. His skin turns into this very deep red, and you can see what look like horns kind of like growing from his head. And his clothes stay the same. And he says, well, I can't change my voice at all, but I've learned this new trick that apparently I had able to alter my physical appearance. And anyway, I see fit. So this should give me a good enough excuse for carrying around an exotic animal with me. An older man. Yes.
That's handy.
Who knows? Maybe I could teach it to you one day.
That would be awesome.
Maybe then she'd look normal again.
Look normal again?
Oh, long story.
Yes, well, it looks like we've got a lot of long stories to exchange. Well, fine. Retrieve this doglin. Oh, they are just wonderful creatures. Huh. I'm glad Alec got a pet. That's very nice. And, anything else?
I think that's it.
All right.
We'll go get the fox weasel from our room, and we'll meet you in the ghetto.
A fox weasel, you see? You know,
That one's Sayla's.
that makes sense. You know, I try to be as nice to animals as I can be, as they are, well, one of the world's untampered with great delights in terms of how they react to people. And every single, well, not every single night, but the past few nights, I've had this orange and white fox weasel coming to my door, sort of scraping, and it says that they have a very hyperactive sense of smell.
Sounds about right.
I think it might have caught your scent on me, although that was so long ago. They can really, almost like a hound dog, really. They can really trace scent an impossible distance. Handy to know. But I'm sure that, well, in all honesty, what time is it? Let's see, about noon, probably? Well, actually, if you just wait a couple minutes, I'm sure it'll be back to scrape on the door for some more food.
Alright, then. I guess we're gonna wait for a few minutes.
That's fine by me.
And a few minutes pass, and nothing happens. He says, well, all right, that's odd. It should be about noon. Wonder where it got carried off to. Well, And at about that moment, the two of you and Duncan can hear a this like howling noise coming from somewhere behind the sort of residential block of the inn. Oh, well, that might be the Doggerlin. Here, and he kind of like runs over to the side and he says, now, My view isn't the best because it doesn't look over any of the, well, grotesque fake trees, but it does look over the stable. And I didn't realize it was hers. And he kind of opens up the curtains. And you can see Alex Doggelin just in a kennel that is definitely too small for it. Just howling away, is kind of scraping at the metal, ramming its shoulder into the side. And you can see some of the other stable hands are just kind of ignoring it, walking past. And then, Sayla, you see a very familiar sheen of orange and white, sort of running atop the rooftops of the stables. Except, you can see this... At first you think somebody put a collar on him. Like this very thick metal band that has something... That's a ring of keys. As the fox weasel is running down, jumps down from the stable's rooftops onto the ground and sort of scutters his way over towards the cage and kind of like stands up his like long, lanky body and kind of like pushes the keys off and tries to like align it into the lock and eventually gets it. The key is inside the lock and like hits up on it and it unlocks. And at that point, the Doggelin cracks open the cage, it flings open, and the fox weasel just kind of jumps on top of the Doggelin, and the Doggelin just begins to run. It's like running in circles around, and you can see the stable hands are trying to like grab it, but it's just too fast for them, darting, and it keeps trying to find a way out, but this entire area is just blocked off, and there's no way for it out. And you're just watching this display. What do you guys want to do?
Sayla, we gotta go now.
I'm gonna go open some doors.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow.
Yes, all
Are we
right,
still
yes.
invincible?
Okay. Yes, you are. You would probably have about a half an hour at this point. All right. Yes, let's go. And Duncan following behind you, shutting the door, making sure to grab all of his supplies and his new red tiefling cosplay. He heads down the residential block and around towards the stable, and you can hear the stable hand shouting, "Get that mutt! Get him! No!" And you can see one try and dodge, and the Doggelin is just having a good time. It doesn't seem like it's in danger. It's just and like jumping, and the fox weasel's like body is just kind of hanging off the side, like wiggling in the wind. And these people are trying so hard to catch it, but they just can't. And Duncan says, what do you want to do? Do you want me to go in and try and get it?
Distract, I'll open some doors and we'll just let him out.
All right. Not very good at voices. Excuse me over there. May I have some... Are you having some trouble over there? Might I be able to assist in some way? No, it's really not good. Should I change it? No. Please, stable hands, I'd like to get my horse, please. I'd like to leave the city, please. Please, a horse. And he's just kind of yelling as the stable hands are now not able to pay attention to anything in this moment. And there's like, yes, sir, of course. And one kind of runs over as the other one's still trying to catch the Doggelin, but eventually just kind of runs around the back of the stables. And there's a moment, Sayla, where you could probably get in and open whatever you want to open.
Alright, I need to open whatever door I can to let them out into the main area so that they can get loose.
Okay, so as it's running around, you can see that there are like these sort of like metal, very tall metal cage that kind of surrounds the entire area to make sure nothing can jump over or squeeze through any cracks. So you make your way over to one, you lift up a latch and kind of open it, and at that moment the Doggelin breaks around the corner and just darts through the door past you and Morganix, but then kind of like stops, like sliding on its heels, just and turns around.
Keep going.
It's us. Keep going. We're gonna take you to Alec.
And just kind of slowly begins to run a little more, but still away. And Duncan sees the Doggelin run past with the fox weasel. You know what? Actually, this is what I was looking for. Sorry, I get horse and Doggelin confused, I suppose. Well, have a good day. Bye. And he like shuts the gate and shuts the handle. Please, have a good day. Afternoon. Hang and kind of makes his way towards the Dogolin and Foxweasel, who are now slowly trotting away from the stable, as the stable hand's like, wait, no, and they just kind of look at each other. And Sayla and Morganix, as you guys are right next to the gate, like starting to walk away, you can hear them go, I didn't see anything. It just kind of made its way out, right? Yeah, we came on for our shift and it just wasn't there anymore. Yeah, that's good. And they just kind of both kind of step away from the gate and go back to sweeping. And as the two of you make away, you can see the Dogolin slow down and kind of approach the two of you. And the Foxweasel jumps off the backs, and like you can see it. It's odd. Morganix looking at the Foxweasel just run up like this leg that is there but is invisible and just kind of like floating as the Dogolin stands up on its hind legs and puts its front paws on your shoulders where it's about standing as tall as you are, and just starts lapping in your face, Morganix, as Duncan sort of looks at the two animals and is like, well, there's no denying that they definitely enjoy your company.
There goes our cover.
Oh, hey, buddy. We gotta go.
And just looks up at you. So you probably have about 5 minutes left of invisibility.
Let's get as far away as we can, and I kind of hand my weasel off to the non-invisible person in our little group now.
Yes, hello there, little one. Hello. Hey, no way, like a scarf. Hey, see, that's not that bad, right? And he scratches under the jaw of the little baby Foxweasel. Oh, there we go. All right. So, where am I headed to? I'm not exactly sure. As you can see that there are now sort of in this alleyway, there are kind of people like looking down, trying to see what the commotion was. Luckily they didn't see any of the floating animals, but now they just see Duncan with a tiefling, with a Foxweasel, and a Dogolin. Where am I going? Go. Nothing to see here. Just a crazed tiefling talking to himself. That's cocked. Oh, hey. And they kind of, all right. And they just walk away from him. Oh, that was close. How do people lie all the time? I don't get it. So, where are we headed?
Native Ghettos. The rest of our party's waiting there.
Very well. Let's go, shall we? Now, I can't do much, but I have a feeling this invisibility is going to run out soon, correct?
I have a couple minutes left. If I can find a secluded spot I could cast again.
Let me...
Or we could just try to get out of here as quickly as possible.
Well, what I can do is, hopefully nothing bad happens today, but I think I have a solution. I just ask all of you to willingly fail and just let what's going to happen, and I promise that everything will be fine.
What?
Don't worry about it. All right. See, it's been a minute.
Morganix just invisibly tilts her head a bit.
And you see him kind of breathe, and you can see his hands, like his fingertips, begin to glow with this greenish magic. And he just, like, almost like when you flick water at somebody, he flicks water at you, Sayla, and then at you, Morganix, and you're still invisible for the duration, and you really don't notice any change. But then, when the invisibility fades, and you look at one another, you are definitely not Duncan, Sayla, and Morganix. You are just run-of-the-mill workers. You're wearing, a little raggedy, well-worn garb. Morganix, you have like shorter blonde hair, and Sayla, you have these really long braided black hair. All three of you are still humans, still the same height and weight and proportions. You just look completely different. Duncan looks like a young man in his 20s, and he says, "The voice doesn't match, but it should cover us for the time being."
I think I
Great.
like the new tricks you've learned.
Oh, believe me, my dear, it has been so long since I've been able to do these. I feel like myself again. So,
Oh, that's wonderful.
why don't we say we take a stroll? And you see him, like, go to, like, take a really confident step, and he's like, "Oh, nope, the back still hurts. Oh, right, that's not gonna work. Okay." And he cracks his back. "All right, we're gonna have to walk a little slow, but other than that, we should be fine." And the three of you, rather easily, definitely a lot easier than the last time you tried to be invisible and be separate, you make your way back towards the native ghetto. And you can't help but be a little excited that you now have a powerful-ish wizard and
Yeah, I could get used to that.
a small victory on your side after so many defeats. You have your animals back, and Sayla, after you do turn back, Duncan does hand the fox weasel back to you, and it just kind of nuzzles up against your cheek, and you realized how much you missed that soft fur. As it just kind of gives a little purr and just rests, and you can hear it kind of sleeping on your shoulder, just happy. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and cut back to the other three. So the three of you make your way back to the native ghetto, and the walk is long. Like I said, you eventually do get back around, let's see, you left at about 10. So you get back at about noon 30. It's a long walk all the way down and around. That close to the entrance. And making your way back into the native embassy, unless there was anywhere you wanted to stop on the way. You just headed straight back.
Nope.
Okay. So you head back to the native ghetto and into the native embassy, and you can see Tenrin in there, and he just kind of, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Guys are back. It's awesome."
Sensing a little salt there, Samrin.
No. I just things got a little tense last time you guys were here, and
We won't be here long.
okay. Would you like me to get Logan, or are you?
No, that doesn't.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever you need. All right. Oh God. And he kind of just makes his way away from the three of you and heads outside. And the three of you are just in this room, seemingly by yourselves for the duration. So if there's anything you wanted to talk about, or unless you were just going to sulk in some silence.
Alec has nothing to say. She's just gonna be an emo kid and stand in the corner.
Okay. Cyrus Varnas, same thing.
Got nothing to
Yeah.
say.
Okay. Alrighty. So, as the three of you sit and wait, and Morganix and Sayla, you eventually do make your way back to the native ghetto, entering to a very, very, very quiet room. Alec, you are tackled by your doggolin as it re-enters and just jumps on top of you and just... And as
She is like giving him all the belly rubs.
and he like rolls on the floor, and he's just like going from side to side, just so into being reunited with you. And Cyrus, Alec, and Varnast, for one, the people that are coming back with your animals are not the people that left for one, and for two, they're accompanied by a man, a very young man, spry, maybe in his 20s, 30s. Yes, well, hello, Alex, Cyrus, and
That's a Varn asked Duncan. Duncan, can you drop the spell?
of course. And the spell fades, and Alec and Cyrus, you recognize Duncan Baines.
I have several questions.
Found what was in that room.
Can you remember things now? Where's Ko? Did he fix your mind?
Almost everything, my dear, and I have good news for you. Ko, I don't know if it was from some blessed gift from your gods, but through helping me receive most of my memory back, Ko's vision returned to him. He can see now. He was able to take the bandages off. He could see fine.
That's wonderful. I assume he's just back in the city then.
Yes, he is aiding Jalissa and New Vidalka, trying to keep an eye on anything that might aid you in your mission in any way, shape, or form.
This is the first time Alec has smiled in like a solid 3 days. That's great. I hope that he can be reunited with his father soon. Your friend's names. Your friend's name. What was his name?
Well, friend isn't exactly the right word. Kind of. His name was Frederick. He was a very, very good friend of mine, but sadly he it's a long story. Frederick and I... well, actually, sorry, before I get too carried away, this rather roguish gentleman here in the room with you, unless something quite terrible happened to Al, I think that,
Oh, something horrible happened to him.
His mother came and fetched him.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Yes,
this is
Master.
Varnast, and he can be trusted. He is an ally of ours. Varnast, this is Duncan. He's been a great deal of help to us in New Vidalka.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Varnast.
Likewise.
Wait a minute. Wait. Where do I know that name from? Gods. You served under a... what was his name? Colliard, right?
No.
But you were, you served on the seas, though, correct?
Yes, I spent many, many trips trying to hunt down a captain by the name of Colliard. How do you know him?
Well, to be frank, it is not in a friendly way. I am a little bit relieved that you broke the news to me that you hunted him. I was, friends with a Captain Vera, and in my earlier days, much younger, Well, we explored for a while and we ran into him a few times, and I tried to keep up on where he might be. Well, before my bones got too old to be on the seas for too long, I thought that maybe one day I would be able to, I'll exact some revenge for things that he'd taken from me. And I remember reading about, I remember reading your name in those, reports of people trying to locate him and find him.
With no success.
As with most people, no success. I myself tried for a long time as well. I always hoped somebody would find him and exact some justice, but elusive he is.
One day.
Well, with that, Von Ast is a good man, then. Hunting that, well, to be frank, sick son of a bitch, it's good to have someone like him on your team.
Who is this man you talk of?
It's a long story. And to be frank, I never met him. It's, Captain Colliard was a plague on West Salamander. He created an alliance of pirates known as the Scorpion Syndicate. And to be rather blunt, he was a giant pain in the ass and a sick son of a bitch. Yes. Could never capture him, just always 10 steps ahead of us, and we've never been able to get any good info, even when we've captured the occasional ship. You know, people who claim they knew him, we've gotten 20 different descriptions of what the man looks like, including different races. So, whether he's some sort of a myth or whether he purposely leaks false information, I don't know, but yeah.
But
never get a hold of him.
Yeah.
Just curious, would I be familiar with him since he's part of the underworld kind of?
In a kind of like in a myth way, you know, where like sometimes, you know, especially in the under parts of the cities that you would talk to, the undercity of the Seraph, people would like myth. He was just a myth where, you know, it wasn't even sure if he was real or not, but he was kind of like Davy Jones, you know, like to us, where like there might have been a Davy Jones somewhere, but not, you know, the Flying Dutchman and all of that. And so for you, it's kind of like, oh, maybe I could meet my hero. You know, there's something along those lines.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Are you surprised?
Not even a little.
So, well, regardless, as important as finding him one day might be, for right now, all of you have a much bigger meal on your plate. So, you might want to take a seat. This is it's a story that pains me greatly to tell. Remembering it was very difficult. And as Duncan begins to tell his story, before he does, we're going to take a break there just because doing Duncan's voice hurts more than I thought it would, and I need to get water. So, mainly just because I need water when I do this voice. But yeah, we'll go ahead and take a break there.
Bathroom break!
Yeah, bathroom break for like 5 minutes, and then we'll be back. So, what is that? 5:33. Well, 33, whatever hour, but 33. And we'll be back. All right, break. Oh, wait. Okay. Who's all here?
I am.
Nice.
Still here.
Good. It's just really funny to me whenever, because so many things like obviously it would be so weird if Duncan just knew Varnet, like made no comment about Al, which is just funny to me because
It's just like, whatever.
it's like every time it comes up, I just feel a little weird about it because I'm like, well,
Nah, he had to go home.
yeah. Albrecht Wilhelm III. Most rewarding 15 minutes of D&D ever.
I think you got grounded for like 6 years.
About, yeah. Oh, man. Oh, is everybody back?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I haven't heard Jamie.
Oh, really? I thought
Wait,
I heard
what?
Jamie. Yeah, it's.
Never mind.
My group chat with my friends has just become the fun. Well, it's not funny to anyone else, but we are pissing ourselves laughing at every single Ben Shapiro meme right now. It's the funniest fucking thing in the world.
Oh, yeah. No, same. I
Like
don't-
to the point of we now describe bad things as dry ass p word or wet ass p word if it's good. Because we are children.
Exactly.
I read the lyrics to that song. Wow.
Him reading it though is like someone remixed it, and it's the
Yep.
funniest fucking thing ever.
And it's so good. Like, the remix is so good. That's the funniest part to me. God, which campaign is this? Colonial. There we go.
And it's like, my students are like, no, Mrs. K, it's actually a really good song. And I'm like, what? No? It's trash? But like, no, it like just goes really hard, Miss K, like, you don't understand. Okay. That's why you're gonna fail my class. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna hate on them, but the fact that they were trying to convince me that it was actually a legitimate song, it's good. Mm.
What song was this?
WAP
WAP.
by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Wet ass P word. I hate how he talks.
My wife, by the way, was a doctor. Okay. Probably did a medical condition.
There are better FNAF fan songs.
I believe you.
Man, I was not expecting that to be in that room.
Right?
Really?
I also thought it was like not gonna be actually him, so
Rightfully so. With everything that is happening, it would make sense if it was a vampire who was actually evil. And it was
Yeah.
like, ho 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 ho. Because my vampires, if they're evil, are Count Chocula.
yeah. Obviously.
Yeah.
Nice.
The good ones are attractive. The bad ones are Count Chocula.
Yeah.
I think we're all here.
Yes, we are. And it's 34.
Sorry, took me a minute.
I'm fine.
That's all good. That is all good. Which that means it is no longer break time. Alrighty. So, with that, we'll just jump right back in where all of you had finally made your way back to the native embassy inside the native ghetto, and you were reunited with one another after a short 2-hour period, and all of you were, well, 4 of you were reunited with Duncan, and one of you had met Duncan, and picking up right where we left off, Duncan was just about to go into detail about this Frederick person. And so, we'll pick up right there after a swig of water. So, Frederick. Frederick and I, we were apprentices together at the college. The College of Hearthcrest. We grew up together, we studied together, we were friends, like brothers, really. And when we graduated, oh God, what was that, 30, 40 years ago almost, we decided that we didn't want to just sit around and read books and slowly climb a ladder. We wanted to do something of worth. Wanted to be somebody. Do something important. So, being young and naive, we left college and we headed for Efera. We knew that there were people and businesses who were willing to pay a good coin for people well-versed in any magics or an arcane knowledge to help and investigate and discover things. So we did. We took an offer with some small company hoping to explore the barren waste, do some excavation of the desert, wasteland regions of Efera, a place that really no one had been before. Now, Frederick, and I know this now, I had been oblivious to it, but Frederick, well, he envied my magical abilities. He was so smart. Such a smart man, just had no magical ability in his bone. None at all. And I never thought of it. I was young and stupid, and I would do things. I would impress women. I would pull pranks on our friends, and I would do all of these things with magic that he couldn't do. I never thought anything of it. But apparently it wore down on him. As we were investigating these areas, we were digging. We found ruins of native buildings that had been long abandoned by the people who lived there. And the strangest part is there was no bodies, none, no bones, no nothing. But there was blood everywhere, stained into the stone. And he found this book. And, well, the book pushed him. It made him angry, testy. He started to yell and scream at me, and I would try and reason with him, but he wouldn't hear it, and then he would stop, and like he was in a trance, like he was pulled away from being who he was. After we finished, we decided to, Nuvadalka was a small city at the time, maybe 5-10 years old. And we went there. In our journeys, we both had met women that we fell in love with. He had met Fathina, Fire Genasi woman. And I met a woman named Grace. And I loved her so much. But that tome that I sent Morganix, I sent you and Al looking for. That first day you were in Nuvadalka. It was that one. And he obsessed over it when we were there, and there would be times where Fathena and at the time their young son, Liam, and they would come to Grace and I, and they would say, we don't know what's wrong with him, and I would try and go talk to him, and he wouldn't listen. He would yell and scream, and one day he hit me, and it wasn't just the fist, it was magical. Something he connected to in that book pushed him over the edge. I demanded he give me the book back. It was corrupting him. It was doing terrible things to him, but he wouldn't listen. I stormed out and I left. I told Fathena and Liam that they needed to leave, but the woman wouldn't. She wouldn't leave. She said they were still good in him. I tried time and time again to get them away and get them out, and eventually one day, Frederick, I suppose he knew that no matter what powers that book would give him, they wouldn't be good enough to comparable to where I was. So he hurt me the only way he knew he could. He poisoned Grace's mind. I realize now, it wasn't someone else who affected my memory. It was me. I didn't want to remember the way she looked at me. My best friend of 40 years. The way he looked at me. I wanted nothing more than to forget. Gods, I did. Forgot everything. Everything I knew about magic. And everything I'd studied and worked so hard for, I forgot. That book drove him insane. And I think in his last act, after I had destroyed my mind and forgotten everything I could about her, he left the book at my door. A note from the college saying this was a special tome that couldn't leave under any circumstance unless specific things were met, and I assumed it was correct. I didn't remember anything. All I knew was that for some reason there were women's clothes in my room. Didn't know who they belonged to. All I knew were my books. I wanted to teach people the things I couldn't do anymore. Open that academy. And thanks to Ko, I remember now. I can only assume it was Frederick who wanted that book, and that it was Frederick who attacked you. Well, Morganix, you and Al at the time. Wanting to get that book back. Wanting to... I don't know what he wanted.
We've seen him again.
You have?
A few times, actually.
In, what capacity? Is he dead now?
He looks it. He was alive enough to attack us.
Yes.
He had to retreat. Oh.
He took from Varnast, was it a key?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God.
That creature you mentioned? The one that attacked us when we went under to get the stuff for Jalissa.
Wait, sorry. My brain totally fell apart there. What'd you say, Sayla?
She mentioned the creature that had attacked them when they had gone to get the stuff for Jalissa.
Yes. So, seems like he's trying to collect all of the keys, but I just...
He did not look human.
It also seems wherever he goes, there are gnolls with him. Some that are no longer living as well.
And that book that we found in his basement was driving Al mad.
Wait. All right. So, listen, I know it doesn't seem likely, and I know I'm probably asking a question that the answer is very obvious to, but did there seem like there was, anything left to him?
He mentioned the name Liam.
He did, he spoke.
That's his son. God.
He seemed conflicted for a very brief moment.
Well, then that means there's something left in him. I mean, he might be a shell of what he was, but there's still something left inside of him.
There was a moment of lucidity.
It's wishful thinking. We should likely just let go of what you knew.
Suppose you're right. I don't know. There is something here that I do not like. Well, so anyway, that is generally the gist of it. So I have my abilities returned to me, to a certain extent, and I'm here to help in whatever way that you'd like. Whether that be just information, I still, although I'm older, not as quick,
Duncan, we found the next clue, and whoever has the paper, Alex is just gonna turn to them with, like, the map on it. We know that this temple is where Paramichi was born, and we believe the next clue to finding the lost city is here. But the problem is, Charles is he's already leading an expedition there. They're already ahead of us. We have found a way to get there before him, but if you look at this, is there a way that you could tell us what we should be looking for when we get there?
All right, so, Barolo, did you ever figure out who that was exactly?
Isn't it Bararlo just from Baramichi?
Mm-hmm.
This is a DM question, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, alright. Whoa, alright, I was just making sure. Big brain energy.
But I thought too, and I was like,
What?
that's a
Right?
trick question.
Yeah, okay, so Alec will just say it's Baramichi. He is Bararlo. He had a relationship with the natives here. It's kind of a long story, but they're one and the same.
God. There was never a name, but in natives that I had interviewed, they had talked about a coat, long ago who had aided in a great feat, and their way of trying their best to agree with Coates and trying to work with them and figure out a solution, no matter how hard they abused, because they've seen how good they could be. That was Paramici, the pirate? Well, I can only assume that the waterfall temple to Itashia, I can only assume it'd be some type of a baptism, perhaps. Being drenched in the waters that are holiest to the mother and to the crashing wave, to be born anew, as no longer a pirate, an explorer, but as a husband, lover, and defender.
Right, and what will we look for when we get there? Is there something in the waters there?
Well, you're probably looking for where the water originates from. That would probably be your best bet, so follow the stream in reverse. Whichever way the water's going, follow it opposite, and you should find the main water, the freshest water. That probably would be considered the holiest. And if Baramichi is this individual who aided these natives, I would assume that he would be, he would have been reborn in the holiest of waters that the crashing wave could give. But don't worry, you five won't be searching for it by yourselves. If there's danger here, and, well, I refuse to just sit idly by and let others do work that I am capable of doing. If this is the case, I'm coming with you.
So, can I have just been burned so many times. Can I just insight check him?
Yes, you can insight check him. Everything he said has been a lie. His
Sounds
name is,
legit. I'm in.
his name is Castro, and he's gonna be the new Governado. All right, 11. Yeah, he seems like
Yep.
he's GTG.
Totally on the up and up.
Yeah.
Duncan, you understand that this is going to be very dangerous.
And excuse me, Miss Alec Silverfoot of Logan Silverfoot. Last I remember, I've been adventuring for about 70 years longer than you. At least that's what it feels like. These bones might be old and these joints might be about to fall apart, but do not think for a moment that I cannot handle myself in a fight, especially after everything I've been through. Thank you very much. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell.
Alright. Alex is gonna, pat him on the back, but, very gruffly.
No kind
Alright, then, let's see what you can do.
Right now?
No, not right now.
Good. And blow the whole place up. I'm not exactly sure. I'm still discovering what I can do. It's been an interesting
How sturdy did
experiment.
he look when I patted him?
He exhaled a little bit. He went, "Phew."
Okay. Alright.
Oh man, we're all gonna die.
I've been saying that since I met you all.
But you haven't yet, right? Right? She hasn't died yet? You look like the holy type. You haven't had to do any magic revivification on them yet, correct?
Just myself.
And he kind of leans in closer towards you.
It's a joke.
Well, I like him already. He's interesting. Very good. So, what's next?
Well, tomorrow at midnight, we are meeting, I look at
Cyrus's
Cyrus.
father?
My tutor, I think Emerald will provide the passage to the temple. We're using the the native weight summoning stones.
You know, Cyrus, I was always curious about how you, came to be the way you were. It always intrigued me, and you know what? Makes sense now.
Well, it doesn't to me.
Do you know this man, this Emerald well?
Oh, well, I don't know him personally, but, he is... infamous isn't the right word, but neither is famous. He has a great amount of renown and respect through higher-ranking scholars. He's known for his sometimes morally questionable experimentation, but at least when it came to his experiments, he seemed to always be in the right place when it came to it. He always tried to help people. I will say most of the time it didn't pan out that way. A lot of times he did more damage than good, but his heart was always in the right place, at least. Which is more than you can say for most crazed, powerful wizards, like myself. Just kidding, I've always been in the right place. Most of the time.
Alec is confused. Okay, good. That is good. I suppose we can stay here until tomorrow night. My father is also here. If you need to speak to him for any reason, Duncan, he's, been just kind of struggling for the right words to say. He's been helping the people here, the natives and others who are enslaved to find a way out of the city.
Oh, yes, that's right. New Efera is not exactly the most welcoming of places to your people.
To anybody, it seems this place is a pit of despair.
Yes. It's been around longer than I have, and usually anything that's over the age of 70, really is quite terrible.
Well, we've been here longer. So, if you ask me, it needs to be burned, but here we are.
Well, who knows? After what I heard all of you did to the sunken city bay, who knows? Maybe the city will receive the same fate.
We can only hope.
I suppose. You can see him. He kind of. Oh, I was joking. Okay. Yes. Well, very, very good. So, I actually would be very intrigued to speak to your father. I'd love to. I've never had a chance to speak with a chief before. How would I go about, is there a secret knock or a bird call, perhaps? I'm not a...
Bird call.
Oh, which kind? I only remember a few.
No, she said that with like a blank face.
Oh, and he just bought it. He was like, yes, all right.
Okay, yeah.
Like a whoo, or like a maybe like that. Neither one of those are working.
Duncan, are you sure all of your mind is back?
Yes, I am absolutely positively sure my mind is back.
Right. Okay. Is Tenerin around somewhere? No, or did he properly fuck off because he hates us?
No, it seems like he hasn't come back since you all arrived about 4 hours ago.
Alec does not want to talk to her dad, but okay. I suppose I can help you find him somewhere. And I guess she'll just begrudgingly have Duncan follow her as she goes to try to find Logan somewhere.
Okay. All right. Very cool. So you head towards that door, performing the knocks necessary, heading into the room, and you can see, while Tenerin never came back in through the main entryway, it seems as though somehow he made his way back and around the building and is currently talking to your father, and you can see a younger woman in there with them, half elven, speaking with the other two, and she says, hello. I suppose Tenrin and I should leave you, Logan. We'll be back in a little bit. Some other matters that we need to attend to outside. Best not you come along. And Logan gives a nod and sort of looks up at you, standing next to this older man. Tenrin and the woman, they leave, and Logan looks up and tries to force a smile and looks to Duncan and says,
So, who's your, friend? Alec?
This is Duncan. He is the one who... Well, he helped us find more information about the lost city, and he just wanted to speak with you, so here he is. And Alec will, go to leave.
Alec, and before he can say, Duncan kind of cuts him off. He's I was very interested to learn. I've never had a chance to speak with a chief before, and I would just love to have the opportunity to. And
yeah, Alec is gone.
Logan looks and he kind of goes back to Duncan, and then you can hear the two of them having a conversation from the other room.
Okay.
Alrighty, so now the five of you are left alone, away from Duncan and Logan. What would you like to do?
Really smart to bring Duncan. I mean, he's very old and he's powerful, but I think it's kind of risky.
It's very risky, but
I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm not particularly in the habit of turning down help when I imagine the purse behind Windrun's going to be a literal fucking battalion.
I'm thinking another magic user, even an old one, is a boon at this point.
I'm more concerned that if he dies, Gillis is going to skin me alive. Literally.
Well, we won't
She
let her.
owes us. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
We
I
just
don't
have
think-
to be mindful because there are more than just Charles's troops out there. We're going much farther and deeper than I have ever traveled, and my home is shared with some very, very fearsome creatures, and some of to the likes I've never even heard of or seen before, but we are going into their territory. We just need to be careful.
So comforting.
Speaking of careful, as I briefly mentioned earlier, I may have skipped the part where Immoral knows all of you and your existence and your names. I may have glanced over that part. Again, I blame the wine.
Kind of put that part together when he addressed me by name.
Yes, that's what reminded me.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I mean, he's a stand-up fellow besides the brainwashing.
I don't trust him, but I don't blame you. It has been a day.
I think that it might be best that we all rest, ready ourselves, and just expect the unexpected for tomorrow. Unless there's anything else you want to do in this place.
As she's saying that, I'm gonna sit down on the ground and open my bag and start getting alchemy tools out to brew potions.
Okay. Alrighty.
What time is it?
At this point, it's probably about 5, 6 o'clock.
Okay, so still plenty of daylight left.
Yeah, for sure.
Sayla is going to use this time to tell Alec about how her fox weasel is such a smart little thing and let her dog live out.
It was really cute.
Alec will praise the fox weasel. He's very clever.
Varnast is gonna. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
Varnast is gonna go out and he's gonna see if there's any people in town who might have need of some healing or some lesser restoration, just shit to make him feel better because he has a bunch of spell slots and none of them are going to be used apparently. So might as well see if there's some people in need.
Okay, yeah, and it really is. I mean, just a little bit you can do. Do you want to stay in the native ghetto area?
Yeah, he's not leaving. He's not stupid.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So
he assumed there's plenty of people in need of help here.
Yeah. And as you do, these people, I mean, when you were going to help that fat old lady who was looking for her slave son, you could tell that if you would have helped her, she would not have thanked you. She would have just acted like it was your job to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But these people are legitimately so thankful for what you're doing. And anytime, if anybody's not feeling well and whatever you do and you try and, cure those diseases or what have you, whatever spells you're using, I mean, anything is anything is an improvement on what they had. There are some people who have been beaten or, abused by the guards who weren't taken to the meat market. Those broken bones and bruises that they had, you help heal them. And, these people, they see your garb that you're wearing and they...
Oh, he took it off.
Oh, he took it off. Okay. And, well, as you...
It's too much of a dead giveaway of who he is.
Yeah. But as you are healing these individuals, there are many of them who do thank you in the name of, the Mother of Mountains, or in the name of the Crashing Wave, or in the name of Acadia, the Whipping Wind, saying these entities that mean so much to you. And over the course of, the several hours that you spend out here, you can tell that you're helping bolster morale here a little bit. Just being kind is something that these people in this part of the city are not used to. And
yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah, and you do feel at least a little better because these people are now genuinely more happy and they feel just a little bit safer because of the things you decided to do today.
That's so nice.
If there's anything like major I couldn't get to, because I only have 2 lesser restorations, I just tell them to come find me in the morning, and I can take care of it then.
Okay.
But my resources are limited.
Alrighty. So yeah, and there are some people who do have what seeming to be some type of sickness, but it seems not too deadly. Or not on the verge of death, and so they say, all right, I will, and look forward to seeing you on the next day.
All right, then I'll go to bed, because using all my spells makes me tired in a different way, I would imagine.
Yeah, it definitely is a little draining, but still, you feel pretty good as you head to bed. Is anybody else doing anything? Oh, Morganix, you're making potions.
Yeah, how many can I make between now and tomorrow midnight?
If you spend all day, you could probably make, I'd say 4 potions, since you have the more...
Yep.
Okay, all right. So let's see. How much wealth and supplies do you have?
I put it in my sheet that I have 8 to 10 potions of mid-grade alchemical supplies.
Okay, so yeah, you could use about half of it. Depending on how well you roll. Might be less if you roll high.
Okay. I'm gonna try for 2 invisibility potions and 2 as good a healing potions as I can get.
Okay, so we'll do the 2 invisibility potions first.
I forgot what to roll.
Oh, your alchemical tools.
Oh, right. Okay. attribute. I use...
Either intelligence or wisdom, whichever one is higher for you.
They are even.
Yeah, so as you're working on the first one, luckily it's not so bad that you break your tools and have to go out and buy new ones, but the potion is a complete wash. I mean, you have gray sludge in a jar that if somebody smelled it, they'd probably puke, but other than that, nothing too deadly or helpful.
Great.
Second invisibility potion. Okay. So, you... no alcohol used in the process, but who knows? So second one, it's a little better off, and you do create a successful potion. You are just not sure how long it would last. That's the only thing. Typically they last an hour, but this one, you just do not know.
I will give it to Sayla with that disclaimer.
Nice.
Oh, instead of healing, I'm going to try for one more invisibility potion because I really don't want to pack that spell.
Okay.
Let's go for wisdom because intelligence hasn't been nice to me.
Alrighty, so with that, you're able to tune the alchemical ingredients correctly, setting up your fires, making sure that the temperature in the different flasks stays the proper temperature and doesn't vary or doesn't change too much. And you do create one successful potion of invisibility, which will last the full hour as advertised.
And one healing potion of whatever I can get.
All right. Alrighty, so with that, you are able to make one greater healing potion.
That goes to Alec.
Aw, you're so kind.
And okay, cool. So now I have I used half of it?
Yes, that would be half of your supplies.
Okay. And I'm done.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh, yep. So that would lead Morganix. What is everybody else doing? Just
Alec is trying to put herself as far away from having to have a conversation with her father as possible, and cleaning her sword and sharpening it.
Okay. Alrighty. Good to know.
Cyrus would be kind of switching between pissing about, just irritating people, rolling his loaded dice and trying to convince people he magically rolls sixes every time, and pissing about with that. Well, not really pissing about, just like kind of looking at that Chaos Lily he picked when the witch got burned.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just kind of inspecting it, not really looking for anything, just kind of admiring that he made it.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, real quick, just generally, I'd like you to make a charisma check with advantage. Just for your activities for the day.
Okie dokie.
Oof.
Okay, alrighty. Wow. So, as you are just going about, you can kind of hear people talking about Varnast from the other day, from the previous night, and, you start joking and in a lighter sense, joking about how you know Varnast, and maybe making up some stories about him to embellish a little bit, and you really start to get people in this area to laugh and joke with an outsider. Somebody who they would consider a coat. And eventually it's you have an effect where you are gambling and rolling the sixes, and everybody, they're just blown away that you are that lucky. And eventually there's this moment, kind of like, this is such a niche reference, but have you seen The Road to El Dorado? You're kind of having a moment like Miguel had in El Dorado, where between Varnast healing them yesterday and you just kind of helping them laugh and joke and making them smile with this natural charisma, this silver tongue, this area starts to come alive a little bit. Before it was silent and people looked miserable, but as you are joking and smiling and having a good time, people start to pull out instruments and they start to sing. And there are certain areas in the city where you can see people just dancing and laughing and smiling. And after that moment, you kind of pull out that chaos lily and you just start to look at it. And with everyone smiling and laughing around you, you can see that the petals are just, as you are clear of mind in this moment, the petals are just slightly changing, shifting colors from purple to orange to green to blue to red. Just a wonderful chromatic display. And then they change from these chromatic colors to these more hardy metallic shades. So instead of being red or purple, they are, platinum and gold and bronze. And while it makes for a less beautiful flower, you can see that it's stronger. The wind, when it goes to push into it, doesn't move at all. It's hardy, it stands its ground. And it's a little more tough now, but I don't know, you just feel stronger now. Having such a positive effect on the people around you, you're almost feeding off of that energy. And as you are taking that moment and looking at the flower and just having a good time, you can see Alec is like stomping and like screaming, and there are other people who are kind of joining her, and you look over and you decide to look away because you're like, I don't know if I want to get involved with that.
Is Naki still around?
Oh, yeah. Naki hasn't been able to get out of the city yet, so you can see that just by the native embassy is just kind of sitting, listening to the music, and kicking his feet on the ground, and you can see him kind of like tap his foot a little bit and see if anybody's looking, and then kind of stop and see somebody looking, and he doesn't move anymore. And then when the person's gone, you can see that they start tapping their feet and shaking their head a little bit.
Can Sailor teach him how to pickpocket?
Aww. Wholesome.
Yeah. So the only issue is, that the people here don't carry much on them.
When has that ever stopped her?
So let me see. As you're beginning to explain and how to do it, Naki kind of like, he's like trying to listen really hard, and as you're explaining it to him, he says, but okay, that doesn't seem too hard. I mean, I'm small, so I could probably do it pretty okay, but well, you want me to take from these people?
I mean, I guess you can give it back if you feel bad about it, but...
Oh, okay. I don't know. I guess I would just feel bad because, I don't know, they've just been really nice to me, and I'd feel bad if I took from them and kept it.
Maybe tell them and then practice on them? I don't know why you feel bad, kid. You need to toughen up.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm pretty tough. I managed to scale down that cliff on Alec's back, and I wasn't too scared. I think I'm pretty tough.
All right, money where your mouth is. Go take something.
Okay, I will. I will, and I will promptly give it back. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna try and... Oh, Cyrus is usually pretty drunk, so I'm gonna try and take something from him, because he'll probably be less aware. Yeah? Okay.
Good idea.
And you see Naki kind of like crouch down a little bit, Skyrim style, and is going to make a stealth check. That's cocked. It's 14. Okay. Sneaks over. You can still see him fairly easily making his way towards Cyrus, and is going to make a sleight of hand check on Cyrus. Okay. Cyrus, what's your passive perception?
12.
12. Okay. What valuables do you have on you right now? There's the Chaos Lily, the Angel Feather.
Jeez.
Yeah, I've got I've got 50 gold worth of gems. I've got some hard liquor. I've got that compass,
Okay.
the lily, and the feather.
Okay, all right. Naki takes what he thinks is most valuable and returns to you, Sayla, and sort of tucked into a little vest that he has on, he pulls it out, and you can see there in his hands is Cyrus's flask.
Good job, kid. She's actually grinning as she just ruffles his hair.
Thank you. You know, I don't see why he's so obsessed about this. It's just a piece of metal. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but he's always smelling it. I don't know why. Should I go give it back to him now?
Well, let's wait and see how long it takes for him to realize it's gone.
Okay. Naki tucks it back in, and Cyrus, at about that moment, you're like, oh man, I'm very thirsty, and pat for your hip flask. It's not there. Kind of pat, and you start to have like a Bilbo from Lord of the Rings moment where you're like, where is it? Where is it at? Stand up. You don't see it anywhere. You sort of turn around looking sporadically. I'd like you to make a perception check.
I can do that.
So you are looking around, and you just begin to like stand up and like move and like look from house to house, and you start asking people, you know, I hate to bother you, but have you seen the? And then you after walking around for about 5 or 10 minutes just looking for this flask, you don't see it, but eventually you hear, and Sayla, you couldn't be more ashamed that eventually you just hear Naki start to laugh, where he starts to go. And Cyrus, as you turn around, you see Naki is like heaving over laughing, and you can see the flask in his hands, and he's just sort of like giggling, holding the flask and looking at you, and
Great poker face, kid.
it's just so funny. So Cyrus, what do you do?
Now, I will praise your efforts of my momentary one moment. Is he still holding the flask?
Yes, he is.
I grab it out of his hand, drink from it, and put it back in his hand, and say, my momentary thirst. You that's rather cheeky. I was having a good time. It was warm in there.
Oh, I know. I just thought it would be funny.
Oh no, I see the humor. Would you like to hear a good joke?
Oh yeah, I love jokes.
Okay. Knock knock, who's there?
Who's? Wait, I thought I say who's there.
I take the flask and I walk away.
Sayla calls after him. I've told you to watch your shit.
I'm watching it. I've got eyes in the back of my head. And I like stumble away.
As you stumble away, Naki kind of leans closer to Sayla. Should I try and steal it again?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Ooh. Cyrus, as you're kind of stumbling away, and in your hand, you hear Naki behind you, and he steps on like a twig, and he goes, "Oh."
No, that simply will not do. And I'm like facing him, but I'm gonna cast Mage Hand and tap on his shoulder from behind him.
Huh?
How'd you do that?
Magic. And I like take a swig and I just walk back inside.
Okay. So he kind of like runs back over to Salen. He's like, "Salen, did you know he can do magic?
Yep.
Why'd you want me to steal from him? He could have turned me into a frog."
You did it. You didn't get caught, did you?
I mean, not the first time, but the second time I got caught. Yes, and then he like tapped me with an invisible hand.
Just gotta be more careful. Practice on people that look really stupid.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I can do that. Stupid people. Okay. How do you know if someone looks stupid?
Well, usually you can tell by the way they talk or the way they're dressed.
Okay.
Like, Morganics would be considered smart, but Alec, debatable.
Okay. Okay, so she looks pretty distracted over there. She's dancing, and she's... Why is there smoke coming out of her?
Like I said, she's, yeah. Have at.
Okay, but I'm gonna give it back, because I don't know if I like taking it. I don't know. Okay, alright. Alright. Alec, what's your passive perception?
15.
Okay. So, what valuables do you have on you?
Oh, not a lot. I got a lot of weapons on me. I have 2 potions of healing. I have that ring of protection. Some rope. Her currency that she does not. I mean, it's not well hidden about her body. Like, she has like javelins that are more hidden than the fucking coin that she has on her. That's it. She doesn't have anything valuable.
Okay. Alrighty. So, by the way, Varnast, you've been healing people. You've seen all of this entire exchange happening.
Oh, and I've done nothing to
So as Alec, you are just dancing with some of your fellow, although they're from different tribes, they share in the same traditions, and you've just been having a good time. You've been smiling, enjoying yourself, and there is a moment where you are just singing and dancing, and you can feel that, you can hear the ching 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 of coins just around you, adding to the rhythm and tempo added, or the rhythms and instruments added from what are already being played. And you just kind of tune it out, and it's whatever, and then you kind of notice that the coins aren't there anymore, and you look down. What do you want to do? They're not there.
Right now I think she's feeling pretty good. Life's so right in this moment. She's gonna look around, I guess, and just kind of think maybe she dropped it. You just take a look around.
Okay, make a perception check.
She ain't too bothered, to be honest.
No, yeah, you're kind of like, well, if they took it, they probably need it more than me.
Alright.
You just return to it, and Naki comes back over to you, Salem. He's got the coin purse. All right, well, I got it. What do I do now?
Well, normally I would pocket it and take off, but I kind of need Alec to have money.
Okay. So should I give it back to her?
And I'll come with you just in case.
Okay. So just kind of aimlessly, he just kind of walks back over. And Alec, as you're dancing, he goes, Alec? Alec?
She'll like look down at this. Oh, hi.
Hi, I stole your money from you, but I'm giving it back now.
Oh, you stole it.
He's practicing.
Ah, you're learning from the best. Here, how about this? And she'll like reach around. She's pretty gone. So she'll just kind of like dig her hand in, and she'll like give him 2 platinum pieces.
Whoa.
Here, yes. People around here use this to buy things. So buy something.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I could
Hey.
buy so many
you could.
apple
You
tart
could.
jellies. Oh my gosh.
Stay out of trouble, alright?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I will. Here you go. And kind of like hands the purse half-heartedly to you and just kind of lets it drop on the ground. Sayla, can I go buy the candies, please?
Run along, child. It's your money.
All right. Yes. And kind of runs off with the coins in hand, heading towards probably some type of salesman. Seemingly more excited about the idea of apple candies as opposed to the prospect of stealing money from others. But who knows? Maybe that'll change in time. But, Sayla, you could tell that he was pretty good.
Very proud. She's gonna go back to her little fox weasel and just snuggle it now.
Okay. Which, yes, thank you for bringing that up. Alec, as you are dancing your dog, the Dogalin has kind of been inhaling some of these fumes and is also now kind of just like anytime you move and clap or shift, the Dogalin is kind of doing it with you, and every once in a while kind of like jumping up and bouncing
Yeah, we
into
vibe
you.
as one.
Yeah, you really are vibing together pretty well right now, and it is a very nice bonding experience for the two of you.
Nice.
So, anybody doing anything else?
I'm just continuing to get blasted.
Same.
Okay. Alrighty. So, that... Well... So... Yeah, that would, Alec, even though you are a little gone, and Varnest, you would Varnest, you would notice that Logan does come out very briefly and just look around and smile, and then the smile kind of dissolves, and then he heads back inside. But no one else would have noticed that. So if no one else has anything they'd like to do, all of you will head to rest after a night of raucous partying and enjoyment.
I would probably ask if we're gonna like sleep during the day so that when we teleport at midnight we can just go.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm down to stay up all night.
Yeah. Like 100%. She'll get fucking mind and then just sleep all day.
Yeah. That was it.
Okay, alrighty. So that's what you do. You all have one hell of a late night, and you, Sayla, you decide to be responsible, and you take the necessary precautions before going into a very, very dangerous place. I'm sure Varnast is right there with you.
Oh yeah, he is certainly not in with the party.
Yeah, Morgonix is brewing potions for like damn near 48 hours.
So there are 3 responsible people, but Cyrus and Alec, they've had some of the biggest bombs, and they seem to be taking it
Well,
not as well as some other people who've had some big bombs thrown at them. Eventually, The morning does come, and at about that time, Alec and Cyrus, you decide to hit the hay, as you're now at the at the verge of exhaustion, and you decide to head to sleep, sleeping up until about 9-10 p.m. So, at about that time, it's about a 2-hour walk. There's about 2.5 hours before you have to leave. Or it's about a 2-hour walk, and you need to be there in about 2.5 hours. So in this last half an hour, is there anything anybody would like to do before you head to the portal?
I actually kind of do have a thing.
Okay. What'd it do?
2 quick things. First, I'm going to... Well, this might not be a quick thing. Is Cyrus awake?
At around 7:30, 8 o'clock, he would start to kind of like rouse up.
You want to try something weird?
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
Okay. You've already got magic, and I don't think she can manipulate you, so I'm going to hand him the hilt. Can you hear her?
Ooh, I'd be so giddy about this. I would absolutely take it and be like, hello?
Cyrus, for a moment you don't hear anything. And right as you're about to hand it back, a voice rings throughout your head, almost cat-like, in this subtle purr that's happening underneath all the words. The voice says, "Well, you're finished with me already. It's not all that often I get to be in the hands of such a handsome man."
I like not expecting the voice, drop and go, oh, what the fuck? I pick it back up and say, I'm sorry. Yes, I can hear her. Please continue the compliments.
As much as I would love to, I believe she should keep hold of me for now. I don't want to get too attached.
Yes, rather terrifying. Nice to meet you. And I hand it back.
Thank you. Had to just have that little experiment. Just, yep, if I die, volcano. Thank you.
Yes, I feel vaguely used and immediately start drinking.
Well, now Morgonics feels bad. She's like, oh...
Didn't even buy me dinner.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No. It's trust me. She paid me several compliments. It's the keys to my heart.
Sorry, and I'm just gonna rush off. And I'm gonna go find Sayla.
Okay, so rushing off, you find Sayla. She is all armored up, ready to go, blades sharpened, armor greased. She is looks deadlier than ever.
So, quick favor before we go.
Okay.
Don't let me be what Kagan said I would.
What do you mean by...
I mean, I know you wouldn't hesitate, but if I don't want to do to Alec what he said I was going to. So I'm trusting you to stop that if it happens.
Is this permission to kill you?
Yeah.
Huh. Well...
But I don't ever want to do that, and I'm going to fight it tooth and nail. I just like to cover my bases.
Have you ever heard that those who fight against shit usually cause it?
Yeah. I'm trying. I wasn't meant for any of this. I'm doing the best I can. And sometimes I think I just make it worse.
How about you just ignore it's a thing, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it?
Yep. Just putting it out there.
Well, I suppose it wouldn't be too hard.
Yeah.
Quite easy, really.
What did you just say?
Quite easy, really.
Yeah, well, if anyone gets to do it, I think it should be you.
I do call dibs.
Yeah, it's only fair.
She's playing it cool, but she kind of doesn't like the idea. It's kind of like asked to do this.
Good talk. And I'm just gonna go away and gather my stuff.
I mean, technically, if I just did the deed now, we wouldn't have to worry about it.
But how would you keep getting those invisibility potions?
That is a good point. I guess I could buy them.
This is a lot cheaper.
Yeah, she's very uncomfortable with the idea of actually going through with it. She's not going to admit this ever. But she's kind of hoping it doesn't come to that. Feels too righteous.
That's all I wanted to do. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay. Alrighty. Anybody have anything else they would like to accomplish?
Well, Alec has gone like full war paint today. Like her face paint looks like a crying skull on her face.
Hell yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Hey,
And
Alex,
she's- yeah,
you do realize that we have to walk through the town to get there, right?
it's midnight. Or close to it. I'll keep my head down. She's ready.
Okay. Alrighty. There's a resounding mm-hmm that comes from the hilt.
Yeah.
Actually, one thing, I'm so sorry. Before we leave, Alec is going to find Logan before he has a chance to find her.
Okay. It's funny that you say that because as you were searching for him,
fuck.
you can see that he was searching for you, and the two of you kind of look into a room at the same time for each other.
So awkward. We're leaving. Just so you know.
All right. Alec.
I don't want to do this right now. I can't. I don't have time.
That's fine.
I don't have the patience.
That's fine. But I just want you to know that I know that you are not, and you will never be, the beast that Kagan said you would. Those people you're with, they are good people. Most of them, at least. But I cannot argue with the fact that they will help you more than I ever could. The greatest injustice I ever did was keeping it a secret from you, and I'm so sorry you had to find out this way.
I don't want to do this right now. I appreciate your words, and I know what you're trying to say, I know what you're trying to do, but today is not the day. Quite frankly, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know who you are. who my own people are anymore. But what I do know is that I have to do this. And if this is going to lead me to discover who I really am, then I need to follow this. So today is not the day for this conversation. It will happen. But now is not the time.
Fine. Fine, I understand, but...
And you can see him sort of grabbing onto his shirt, right around his chest. And he reaches into his shirt and he pulls out what looks to be a like a very, it's odd, it's almost like a geode almost, very tiny, like flat geode that was cracked open and has all of these intricate caverns on the inside of it. And he hands it to you.
I am no longer worthy as the leader of Clan Silverfoot.
Do I know what this is that he just handed me?
You have no idea.
I don't know what this is.
From chief to chief, it is passed. It is a key into Nibiru. Trusted to the highest of elders and the highest of chiefs in order to keep it secret and safe, that the doors that lead to the heart of native life will never be broken open. It cannot stay with me. I am not worthy of it. I never have been. All those years ago, I told you to be better, and you always have been. But we need to talk of it no more. I just want you to have this in case the worst happens.
Just kind of like, what? She's really, her eyes are big and she's just kind of holding this thing, not really sure.
Alec, I love you, and
The worst isn't going to happen. You're gonna stay here, you're gonna help these people, and whatever it is that you've done or didn't do, now is the time to make it right. These people here need you.
And that's what I'm doing. Tomorrow night is that ball. Most of the guards will be in the manor, and in that time, Abigail, the woman who was in here yesterday, she's rallied the people behind her. Change is coming. I will take to the streets, I will wear my paint proudly, and we will take back this city. But you have a much more important mission. Making sure this man doesn't get anywhere near that city, that place.
Just be careful.
I will be.
She's just gonna look at this thing he handed her, and just nod. She'll put her fist to her chest and just give him one final look before turning to leave.
Okay.
She's not gonna say anything else.
Okay. So there is a lingering moment, almost like, you're kind of hooked on and you don't want to leave, but you break away. Because as is tradition with your people, your companions, those who you shed your blood with, more important than those who you have blood ties to. So, you rejoin with your companions. The 5 of you gather your weapons, your arm, Duncan along with you, and you begin to head through the city to the High Gate. 2.5 hours, you get there at about 11:50 midnight. The portal opens, You step through, and you are in Immaril's room again. His laboratory. You see him standing up there. He says, "Good. You're all here. I was able to figure out how to do it. And who is that?"
Oh, that's Duncan. He's a fan of yours, apparently. Well, kind of.
Wait, are you Duncan Baines? Well, yes, I am, Rune Master Emerald. I've heard much of your work. I have heard much of yours as well. Your excavations of the lost city of the
Is there any
blood
chance
clans.
that you guys could catch up after we leave?
Of course, yes. This is of grave importance. Please come up here. I've prepared the runes. And as you make your way up the steps, you can see a collection of, what is really looks to all of you, just rocks. But, Alec, these are special rocks. Your people would, call them symbols of the Mother, just as your waystones that would mark your tracking and traversing through the jungle, so you would know where you've been, each one a different shape, that would help you know where you need to go. And they're just kind of scattered out randomly. And he says, all right, well, all of you stand within the stones. It doesn't matter where, just as long as you're inside. That is what is important.
Alec will move to be in the stones.
All right.
So will Margonix.
Yep.
Same.
All right. I'm letting you know now, I have no idea what is going to be on the other side. I would just...
Margonix will preemptively summon the Hexblade.
Oh yeah, Alec will draw her sword. She's fucking ready.
Just say, alrighty, well, please survive. All of you seem like quite interesting people that I would love to get to know better.
For one thing, darling, for when we come back, I still have that scroll of far speech. Shall I just give you a little call?
Yes,
I would like to know how to get back.
Well, we can try that. The issue is, I do not know how you will get back.
I thought you said you could bring us back. Can we get back the same way?
You should be able to. I'll leave the stones aligned. And between Cyrus and Duncan here, you should be able to discharge enough magical energy and to make your way back. I just... Well, limited time for research.
Right. Alex is just gonna grunt.
I'm sure you'll be fine. I'm sure of it. All right, well. No need for final words because everything will be fine.
Famous last words.
Right. And all of you saw the confidence that he wore when you first met him is just all gone. It is just on the floor. Just nowhere near him anymore. He says, all right. I would suggest all of you close your eyes and do whatever you consider meditation. Because it requires a clear mind to work. At least that's what I read. All right. And you can see him sort of move the table out of the way and sort of step closer. And you hear him. He has that leather-bound book in his hand, and he begins to chant words. And Alec, you recognize these words. They were typically used in ceremonies of your people whenever important things were happening or whenever somebody died. They were the prayer, almost, that was said. And he just begins to chant it over and over, and you kind of commend him on his dialect, where he's saying the words correctly, and he's pronouncing them correctly as well. And he's speaking, and the stones underneath you begin to glow this very deep blue, and they create this interconnecting lattice, almost like a web, just one string to the other layered on top, until eventually it just begins to build on top, until you're up to your knees in this blue energy, until eventually it gets to your necks. And as he begins to finish the chant, it covers your eyes, and you're just surrounded by crashing waterways, almost like you're surrounded in a river. Some of you almost try and wave your arms, trying to get yourself above water, but you feel like you're drowning in this moment where, for a moment, you panic. You think that something was wrong, that this isn't right, because the air, you can't breathe anymore. And in that moment where all of you are about to go into that full-blown panic, the blue fades. The water crashes next to you, and you are no longer in that tower. You are in a ruined building, different wood and stone surrounding you. And it's not just the 6 of you. You appear, the water splashes, and as all of your vision returns and you look around, you can see that directly in front of you there are 3 gnolls.
Oh.
But around you, there are about 8 more. And they kind of... and this moment where they were all relaxed, and they kind of shoot up and begin to, like, stare you down.
Nah, Alec is already charging at the first one she sees.
All right, so as Alec begins to take off and charge, all of the rest of you begin to charge up any spells, throw daggers, shoot bows. You can see Duncan beginning to charge up this bolt of lightning in his hands.
Eldritch Blast.
That is where we're going to end tonight's session.
No, don't do it.
There we go.
Whee!
Woo!
I want to
Woo!
kill things now.
Oh, golly jeepers.
Figures are bad. Of course it's a fucking camp. Why wouldn't it be?
We get to hit things next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, here, just so you guys can start, I don't know if you want to strat it. Right now, you guys are in a pretty bad spot. I'll
Let's
show
see.
you the battle map.
I'm fucking ready.
Is a fireball overkill for a gnoll?
Absolutely not.
Well, some of these, obviously you don't recognize the individual gnolls, but some of these are wearing very heavy armor, very heavy weaponry.
This guy right fucking here is mad.
But yeah, there's a lot of them. Woo. Oh wait, here, let me drop Dogglin in there. Oh, yep. There you go.
Dope.
All right.
Woo.
Whew.
Fucking surrounded.
Yeah, you are.
Wow.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
There you go. 4 sessions of role play. Oh God. I hope you feel prepared.
I'm excited.
Oh, I'm ready.
I'm so excited. I'm ready.
Oh, I'm ready too. I'm ready to do some stuff here. Alrighty. Oh, well, look at that. Symbol of the mother. Hey, look at that. Felicity was watching. Hi, Felicity. Yeah, for
Lisa
those.
was watching earlier too.
Yeah. For those of you, so in one of my other campaigns, the well, there's like a mega dungeon one. Felicity's character Elwyn actually ascended to become the mother of Mountain, so she kind of just took over that job, as you do.
As one would.
Yeah, the original mother of Mountains was her mom, so she was like, it's kind of like, all right, well.
That's nepotism, that.
Yeah, it really is. But anyway, thank you. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for watching. I greatly appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed Explorers of Efera session 19. Man, I guess I'm just gonna call this episode Cyrus's estranged sugar daddy. I don't know. Smash now. But yeah, okay. Well, thank you all for watching. That's awesome. To all 3 concurrent viewers, I greatly appreciate it. And have a good rest of your night. Bye.
Yay!
Next time.
End. There we go.